Okay, so if you are self-nominating for the board, meaning you are needing to nominate yourself, what we're doing, can you hear me in the back? What we're doing is come up and talk to Kelly right now. So if you are self-nominating, come up and talk to Kelly. She's taking a list, and we will have the candidates listed.
We're actually having internet connectivity issues, so anyone who's wanting to run for the board should come in and type their name on the computer next to the candidates.
You're having a hard time. We can't turn it up, but if I talk close to this, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you. Keep telling us if you can't hear. All right, I'm going to...
So we're going to start with some of the things that you see. So some of the things that you see are cigarette butts, well-tended gardens, neighbors, fewer kids playing outside, the main streets look better, unsafe traffic issues and an increase in theft, homeless, needles, divisionness, an increase in traffic density.
Wait, is that homeless needles or homeless?
I'm just reading off what people wrote.
Zing.
What you see, families, dogs, people improving their homes, uncertainty and conviction, a lot of normal people, nice houses, dry lawns, crime at night, oppression, opportunity for positive change. Everyone hearing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And next up is what you love about your Montavilla community. Inclusion, community that cares for all, livability and safety. Caring neighbors and tolerance for all. Support systems to address increasing needs for food, housing, and disabled seniors. The Stark stretch, especially the academy, small businesses, cooperation, active neighbors, easy transit, and good neighbors. Somebody wrote, I love my neighbors. Been the same neighbors for many years. Stark Street is great now, and I love the farmer's market. I love my neighbors, my kids' school, which is Vestal, the businesses.
All right, next question. What you hope for? Vision. Respect for fellow neighbors and different opinions. No gentrification. Diversity, renters, homeowners, old, young, black, brown, immigrants. Support for artists, safety, respect, and diversity. A safe place for all. More wasps.
Who was that? We know who that was.
Food for everyone. Housing, decolonization. More love and compassion for all people except Nazis and the bourgeoisie. And I want to feel safe as a houseless queer Montavilla resident. Welcoming all, no mass evictions, rent control. Let's see what else. Inclusion, community that cares for all, livability, safety, unity. Stop thinking about stop thinking that different opinions are bad. I'm trying to be loud.
It's good, man. Yeah, keep it up.
All right, and then more listening from everyone. People trying to understand each other.
Great, thank you everyone who contributed to this list. Maybe give a round of applause for your vision, your
Hi everybody, thank you for coming out to the elections. I would first like to start by giving a round of applause to all the volunteers helping tonight and everybody for showing up. Thank you. We do have to go over an annual report very quickly before we get going here. So these are some of the things that we've done over the year. It's a brief summary. This will also be posted in the general minutes. So this year we did warming shelters during the winter storms that was organized by community members here. We did M&A Community Awards. Promoted successful fundraising and cleanups in the neighborhood. That's great. We did National Night Out. We had the Land Use and Transportation Forum. We had the resolution on the sweeps. We had the support for low-income housing developments. And we worked on scheduling for better accessibility to our general meetings. So some of the highlights there. Thank you again, a round of applause. So I'm going to pass this on to Tamara Lynn, who's going to be facilitating for us tonight. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. All right, welcome to the elections meeting of the Montavilla Neighborhood Association. So I've been asked to facilitate. It's a very clear-cut process, the elections. So my goal is going to be to help Montavilla community through this process so that you can have decisions that really reflect your desires, what you want. So what I'll go over, first of all, is we'll go over the group agreements or the ground rules that you agreed to when you came in. It's on a little piece of paper. Then we'll talk in a little bit more detail about what the election actually looks like. Okay, and then you'll have a chance to vote. So first I'm going to go over the ground rules. If you have a piece of paper, you can look at it. It's also written up here. So by entering this space, I agree to respect all participants, speak for myself, from my own experience, listen for understanding, agree to disagree, and one speaker, one mic, meaning don't interrupt the person assigned to speak or the facilitator. So in this space, I agree not to engage in harassment, threats of violence, discriminatory language, insults, or personal attacks, or disrupting the process. So that's what you're all agreeing to being part of this process as Montavilla and as Friends of Montavilla. Okay, so the nominations are open. I think they are confirmed that we are about to close them. I think I got the thumbs up from Kelly. Did we get the thumbs up to close the nominations? Would you just confirm? I think I got that thumbs up. So what's going to happen is once we close the nominations,
or just filming?
Just filming.
those of you
Do you know of anybody who is?
who know who you want to vote for can actually vote and go.
Maybe
And that
those-
would allow
I
other
think the
people
guys
that
with the
want
big
to come
cameras,
in
maybe
and
those dudes in
hear
the back, or maybe
the
somebody's got a
candidates speak to actually
iPhone.
do
It might be
that.
worth
We
making an
recommend
announcement
that you
because
do
my
that just so
phone
that
is
more
half
people can have a
powered.
chance to be part
Because
of
if you
this
have
process.
an iPhone, you could like do it for like 2 hours on Facebook. Up to
So
2 hours on
in that,
Facebook.
for that reason, I'll be a little bit
Yeah, okay,
more explicit about what the election process looks like. So what we'll do is the nominations have been open. We're going to close those nominations in just a minute. We've got the thumbs up. I think, yes, we've got the thumbs up. The nominations are closed. So if you look at this list, this is your list of nominees. Okay, so you can vote for up. We'll see if we can make it bigger.
Excuse me, we have a gentleman who didn't realize he was on the list. His name's Paul Rowland. Can we please bring him on?
Paul Rowland will be added to the list. Okay, so here's how it works. We will be,
I don't know if everyone knows that was put out by all of those candidates are all people who are affiliated or supported
All right, we're gonna not have a lot of discussion about this, but we're gonna confirm with the elections team and Southeast Uplift who are supporting this process and Office of Neighborhood Involvement. Okay, so I'm gonna confirm that and ask you to just respect the process, and we will maybe make an announcement about that in a minute. Okay, so we've got the group agreements down. But here's what you need to know. You can vote for up to including 11 people because you can have 11 people on this board. Okay? You need 3 to have a legal board. And those who are elected to the board have to have over 50% of the people voting. So that means if everyone only votes for their 3 people, there's always a chance we could have not a candidate. So think about who, in addition to your favorite people that you support, might do a good job, okay? So that will be the process. I'm gonna explain a lot. I'm not taking questions. I'm gonna walk you through the process as we do it, okay? So if you know who the people that you wanna vote for are, go ahead and vote. Where do they give the votes?
Right by the sign-in desk. The ballot boxes. So as you can tell, there's a lot of people here. If you have already made up your mind about who you are voting for and do not need to listen to the speeches, there are a lot of people here.
Nice.
As you can tell. So not everyone can fit in this room, and some people who can't fit in this room want to hear speeches. So if you already know who you want to vote for and you don't need to hear speeches, we ask that you fill out your ballot and put it in the ballot box and exit the space. Counting is going to take a long time and will be announced on the Facebook page and on the website once we know the results. If you're a candidate, we'll ask that you stick around. But again, if you know who you're going to vote for, please fill out your ballot and put it in the box by where you came in. And we really appreciate you coming out. Speeches soon.
If someone just came in, can they still sign up for the candidate? It's a long line to get in. There's a candidate that wanted to get on.
Where is this candidate?
Can you not stand in front of the light, please?
Hang in there, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. All right. So the nominations are closed at this point. Okay, they're closed. So that means you can go ahead and vote. That means you can vote, you can put your ballot in the box, and you can go. So for those of you that want to stay, this is what's going to happen next. Each of the candidates is going to have a chance to speak for up to 2 minutes. Okay, and it'll happen in a random order, I believe, is my understanding. Will be called up. We'll have a chance to talk about why you should vote for them. They will get a 1-minute warning, and then they will get a 10-second warning, and then the mic will go off. Okay, so get your last words in that last 10 seconds. We're going to be really strict with the process. There are hundreds of people here, and if you have specific questions about the election process, you can talk to members of our election team, who I know are downstairs, or you can speak to Kelly or Molly or Mose of Southeast Uplift, or any of you in here, I think they're downstairs. Or you can talk to Paul of Office of Neighborhood Involvement. So that's where questions and concerns about process should go. Okay? All right, so we are formally closed for nominations.
Real quick, just because there are people in the other room who have a vested interest as well, I'm trying not to feedback, sorry, this way. There was an ask if anybody could live stream. I can't do this. So there was an ask if anybody's able to live stream and provide that link, like we could put it up at the bottom or something for people to use, and that they can distribute to the folks in the overflow rooms, just so everyone gets to hear. I believe that we are trying to hook up a speaker that will run out there, but it's probably not going to be as good as a live stream or something. So if you could do that and provide it, please let us know.
Raise your hand if you have live streaming ability to see a guy with a camera flashing.
I wish. Yeah, I wish.
So we're going to go ahead and move forward, and we're going to have speakers in this order. We're just going to go in this order that they signed up. So can I have, are you ready? Great. So first we're going to have Lucy Elizabeth come up and have 2 minutes to speak. I'm going to ask you to try not to applaud, because that could take a really long time with 20 candidates, so try not to for each candidate.
Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright, so my campaign is pretty straightforward. The first thing I want to do, Lucy Elizabeth. My name is Lucy Elizabeth. My campaign is pretty straightforward. The first thing I want to do is replace the police with wolves, at least until we can figure out what's going on. Wolves kill about 1,000 people a year in the U.S. I mean, sorry, police kill about 1,000 people a year in the U.S. Wolves have killed 2 people in the entire history of North America, so like, obviously wolves are a lot better at not killing people, so I feel like we should replace, and wolves are really good at figuring things out, so I feel like we should replace police with wolves. They can help us figure things out, and then we can move on from there. The next thing on my platform is hiring goats at a fair wage to clean up the garbage in the area. And I think that pretty much speaks for itself. I mean, goats deserve a fair wage. You know, they can help us out a lot. And the final thing on my platform is wasps. I want there to be just wasps everywhere.
White Anglo-Saxon Protestants?
No, the actual insects. Actual wasps. Not the Christian people, I don't know. They just happen to be all over the place. I want the actual insect wasp to be all over the place. And that's about it. Okay, any questions? Yes.
I don't think
What's your policy on Nazis?
Huh?
What's your policy on Nazis?
Punch them.
All right, thank you. So, just a reminder, we're not going to have questions. It's just hearing the candidates speak. Then you get to decide on what you know and what you hear from them. So can I have the next candidate up, David Lynn?
Hi everybody, great to see you all again. My name is David Lynn. I was born in the neighborhood. I've grown up here. I went to Vestal, I went to Binsmead, I graduated from Madison. I went on to Portland State, got my degree in politics and history. I have a master's degree in public administration with a specialty in local government. I first got involved with the Neighborhood Association about 2004 with the volunteers for the volunteer library effort. It failed. But then I joined the Neighborhood Association, became the secretary-treasurer, went on for the outreach chair, parks chair, vice chair, and then eventually became chair. Had my own controversy, not in 2008, 2009 with the prostitution-free zones, but we came together and we worked through that as a neighborhood. And that's really what I want to do on the board. I want to make sure that we're doing all of our planning, strategic planning, full calendar, a lot of guests. I want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to bring everybody together, make sure that people are listening to each other instead of doing so much talking at each other, have a lot more respect for each other, and with that, we can work through a lot of these issues that we have in our community, and then we can start to have some real action and force some city politics to pay attention to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Can we have the third candidate, Johnny Shaver, come up here? Thank you.
Hey folks, this is my third time running for the board. I can tell you that there were not this many people in my first two elections, even if we went through some exponents. So, my objectives for being on the Neighborhood Association are pretty straightforward. I'm really interested in addressing and reaching out to vulnerable and marginalized populations in our neighborhood. I'm interested in supporting houseless residents. I have a long track record of doing that. I organized the warming shelter in the winter. I formed the Housing and Homelessness Committee. I am eager to continue down that path and support all of our neighbors in an equitable way. To that end, also this term, I would like to address our children. Vestal lost free lunch this year, and I'd like to see how the neighborhood can help them get that back.
Yep.
Let's see. I don't have to use it all. Then I'll save it because it's pretty straightforward, and I've been doing this a while, so a lot of you know me. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Yes, you're not required to speak the whole time. Thank you. Ben Terton, number 4.
Thanks. It's good to see you guys. Yeah, my name is Ben. I am the pastor of Central Bible Church up on 90th and Gleason, and I started working with the board several months ago. I bowed out about a month ago because I think that I was not expecting a neighborhood association to be kind of where we were at. And I would like to be part of a neighborhood association that brings people together. I'm interested in a neighborhood association that does kind of block parties and school cleanups and so forth. I've never really thought of this as a platform for high-level politics or real hardcore debating. Those seem to really divide us more. So that would be the kind of things that I'm interested in. A piece of me, one of the things that I think we are in some way all brought together here is because of that resolution, and it stirred a lot up. And so you know where I stand on that deal. I lived for quite a while as an alcoholic and an addict in a truck. I was really broken. And there was a part of the legal system that at the time I was really frustrated with, and I thought it was a grave injustice the way that they busted me and wrecked me. And yet I stand before you today as a guy who was turned around by that. So that's been my own experience. I know it's not the same for everybody, but I'm interested in seeing our neighborhood come together. That's what I want to be about.
Thank you. Is this on? Yes. Great, we're number 5. Blair Rose Schreiber.
Okay, I try not to have any feedback. My name is Briar Rose Schreiber. I grew up in East Portland. I went to Menlo Park when I was younger. I went through David Douglas High School. I lived in Montavilla around 2004-ish is when I moved here, and I lived here for about a decade, and I've kind of moved around the city. During that time while I was moving around, I went to Portland State University, and I got a degree in computer science, which I graduated with honors. I was part of the Association for Computing Machinery there, which is a nonprofit student organization. And since then, I've also been doing lots of different community organizing. I'm also on the board of Stumptown Syndicate, a Portland nonprofit that works with tech companies to make sure that those spaces are inclusive. We actually have a 15-page code of conduct that's been adopted by a whole bunch of companies all across the country, as well as is used in events. That helps create safe spaces that's not too different from the ground rules that we have up here. It's just a little bit longer and a little bit more in detail for those types of events, which I've also worked on the incident response for. So I have a lot of track record getting stuff done inside of groups and making sure that everyone can get along and everyone can feel safe. And I think that I can bring that onto the board. So I decided to run because I have those skills and I have a vision for our neighborhood where we can work together through solidarity, because together we're all stronger. I also think that through mutual aid, if we can bring our resources together, we can make sure that no one in our neighborhood goes hungry. We can make sure that everyone has a place to sleep. And then finally, I think that we can do this through direct action. I think that all of City Hall has taken too long to take action on this, and it might be something that's just out of their ability to do. So I think that we need to come together and we need to accomplish that. So I don't want to ask you to vote for me because I'm not a politician. But what I would like to do is, if you want to mark my number down, if you want to do that, then I want that to be your endorsement that you want to get involved with the Neighborhood Association and you want to be involved in these projects. Because I want to help get those projects done, and that's fine. Thanks.
Thank you. Great, so number 6, Brad, her first.
Oh.
Hey folks, I'm Brad, and just want to say this. This is a really interesting time in not only Montavilla history, but Portland history. And we need to keep that in perspective because only some things in life are inevitable, right? Death, taxes, and what else? Change. Change is inevitable. And we see it everywhere. But how we manage change, how we handle it, is what's important, right? So everyone here has a perspective. And I've been spending the last couple of years learning and understanding and talking to people across the political spectrum, trying to learn what's in their hearts and what's in their minds, where they're coming from, so I can really understand what it is that they want. And that's what I bring to the table. You can sort of think of me as an interpreter of all the hearts and minds that are involved in this process. And even though change is inevitable, this is what is even more inevitable. Change changes us, right? So what we become as a result of this process is what is most important of all. I had a terrific teacher in 11th grade math. His name was Mr. Mangle. And Mr. Mangle was a cool guy. He would come in the morning, and he came in one morning in particular, and he says, "Class, today we are going to have an opportunity." Well, you know what that meant? We were having a test, right? He says, "Class, we're going to have an opportunity to pass, or we're going to have an opportunity to fail." And what we're facing tonight in Montavilla Association is an opportunity to pass. I don't see failure. Let's take this opportunity to bring change successfully into the future. Thank you.
Thank you. So next we have, that was 6, now we have 7, Ruth Donahue.
Hi. Thank you for all coming. This is a wonderful turnout. I'm really glad to be part of Montavilla. Our family has lived here for 28 years. Our family has lived here for 28 years, and our kids played baseball, swam at this pool, and we're involved in all sorts of different activities. I'm a telephone advice nurse. I'm a triage nurse. I speak with people that I don't know. They call me. They want to know what to do when they have problems. So I've had a lot of experience troubleshooting, advocating, and working with people from all different walks of life. And that's kind of what we need right now for Montavilla. We need some triage. We need to figure out what's most important, how can we accomplish it, how can we work together to do it. One of the things that's happening on my block is that our neighbors Art and Jenny are hosting a potluck every month, and people from the area are getting together and meeting with each other. And another thing that I would like to see for neighborliness is people getting to know one another. I've had many calls where someone needs to go to the emergency room, and they have no one to take them. And I said, well, what about your neighbor? Can't you knock on their door? Won't they take you? No, I don't know my neighbors. I would like for everyone in our community to know their neighbors well enough so that if they're having an emergency, they can knock on the door and, "Can you take me to the emergency room?" And people can do that. I'm a moderate. If I had a platform, it would be common sense and respect for one another.
Thank you. Okay, we have number 8, Micah Fletcher.
I'm not going to delve into who I am because, quite frankly, if you'd like to know, I'm a real friendly guy. Feel free to talk to me after this. I'm going to be here. I know a very simple platform. It's quite simple. The first step is that I have been looking into this, and apparently there was a group of some nature by the name of an anti-racist neighborhood watch. I don't get it. I don't know. And I endeavor to find out. from the simple standpoint of this, just by the name of loan, I can tell you this is not a bad choice. It's not a poor idea. I don't know necessarily exactly what's up, but I can tell you from this standpoint that if you're going to have people...
Sorry, we gotta pause our speaker quick, and people can't hear you. Give us 2 minutes, technical
Technical difficulties.
Hello.
It's okay, Micah.
Check. Robbins? No? Cool. I can tell you right now that at the end of the day, at a minimum, we need to have some sort of a group that is depending and well-known and regulated by the community at large, not outside organizations, making sure on the community's terms that we are safe. Number two, I hear that we're having a problem when it comes down to the homeless crisis in Portland, and yes, it is a crisis. And there's no need for any of us to pretend it's not. However, I can tell you that we've spent upwards of about $150,000 to $400,000 on just trying to clean up the Water Creek Parkway. I don't remember, but it's that long stretch where all the homeless camps were, okay? And that's just one very small section of an insanely large city, and it's not like we haven't had these sweeps for generations. It's time for an alternative solution to what should be a very simple problem. And quite frankly, I endeavor to find that one way or another. But the other thing, the main thing is this. This is our neighbors. And when I hear that all of a sudden there's cat fighting, dog fighting, and we are turning on one another over an ideology, something as simple as something written in a book, it's unacceptable. We live in tremendous times, folks. We don't have time for it. We have to stand together. I don't have an ideology. You want to know what my politics is? I don't. I hate it. I didn't even want to do this. I'm doing this because I don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. We have to do something. We're all we have. Period. And if you want to be a part of that and take care of each other, let's get to work. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Next we have Robbie Estabrook.
Hey guys, my name is Robbie Estabrook. I have been living in Montavilla for about 4 years now. I don't have a political platform or ideology per se. I'm actually, I'm an anarchist, but I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in aggression. I believe that we as a community need to be meeting with each other, getting to know each other, solving problems. I don't think that we should be relying upon police to try to solve our problems for us. I think that we should be understanding that there's a difference between crime and policy enforcement. I would like to see crime be reduced in Montavilla. I walk around a lot at night, and I see car prowlers. I see people doing drugs, like just on the road and peering into people's car windows and houses. I've come across people as they were basically casing a house and stopped them. And I just see that there's so much division and so many problems of people just not seeing that we are all just equals. We are all just people that should be getting along and hashing out our differences through civil discourse, rational discussion, things like that. And I would like to see us solve all of our problems. And like Micah said it better than I could, you know, we're a neighborhood. We need to be working together peacefully, responsibly, and just get to know each other, you know. Understand that we're all different. We all want to see things happen, but I think that we all want this sense of togetherness, and that's what I would like to help see happen. Thanks.
Thank you. Number 10, John Jones.
That is my real name. Hello, neighbors. It's great to be here, and I appreciate the facilitator's comments that the writing is on the wall. And the writing is on the wall. We all, except for maybe a few exceptions, agree on the same things. We all want the same things. We want respect for one another. We want safe neighborhoods. We want to know one another. We want to enjoy one another's company. And we can do this. I want to take politics out of the neighborhood association. We have politicians that make policy. We make friends. And that's the way we build our community. I believe that it's a potential for this community is grand. I've been here 40 years. We've raised our children here. And as everybody else said, we swam in the pool and played in the parks and worked in this community. I currently work in a nonprofit that mobilizes local churches, community organizations, and social service agencies to serve people in need. And I would love to see something like that happen here. We could do an asset-based survey, find out what things are already happening, and coordinate those things, and begin to serve people in need in a way that is effective, meaningful, and helpful. So I hope you'll vote for me. I'd love to serve in this community. It's a small service, but I think common good can be had if we do it together. Thank you.
Thank you. Antigonus.
So my name is Antigonus Jarrett, and I'm new to the neighborhood. Previously, I lived in Irvington, and I had to leave because my landlord did not appreciate my Black Lives Matter sign, and told me to take it down and leave. So then I came here, and though I've only lived here a few weeks, I've noticed that there are hungry kids. I've noticed that when I first moved here, I found needles and trash on my lawn, and I saw the suffering of my neighbors across the street on the 205. And as much as I hear that we want to keep politics out of this neighborhood association, I don't understand how children can swim in pools when they're hungry. I don't understand how children are supposed to play and drive when they don't have a safe space to necessarily do that because of what's going on. And we need to bond together and make sure that there are needle exchanges and free food for the kids, and that we're helping people stay housed in the winter so that we don't find bodies on the street. And as far as I am aware, this neighborhood seems to have a lot of really good resources for that. A lot of volunteer groups. We have the Montavilla Food Co-op. We have the shelters in the winter, and we have plenty of people who are doing clothing swaps and all sorts of good stuff. And I'm just here to support that. I want to coordinate my vote and coordinate my organizational skills in getting grants to fund those programs so that no matter what, those programs survive and that we as a community can come together. And I'm not about nice words, I'm about actually getting stuff done. I'm going to hand out a couple of pamphlets to people if you want to see my main points, but I'm Antigonus Jarrett, I'm a ministerial friend, I'm a minister, and I'm just here to support the kids and everybody who lives here.
Thank you. Okay, you're all doing great. You're doing great. I don't want to stop the momentum of that, but I'm going to invite you just to take a quick, literally 15-second stretch break if you need to. So don't go anywhere, just take a step up. I'm going to count down from 15, and then we're going to keep going because we're on a roll, and you're halfway through. Okay? So 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, please get ready for round 2. Next, we have number 12, Jonathan Ogden.
I'll try to use this stand here.
You have to excuse me, I was trying to take some notes for myself. So, my name is Jonathan Ogden. I have been presiding chair of the Neighborhood Association since a few months back when I kind of fell into the position. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, but I do really enjoy the actual amount of support and showing the people that are here right now. This is really fantastic. As you can tell, we didn't necessarily expect such a turnout, but I really appreciate everybody who's made out here because this is a new level of civic engagement. a level that I haven't actually seen before, and maybe it's just because I haven't been around in a long time, but I wanted to kind of touch on some of the subjects other candidates already brought here. What I've noticed is that even with the candidates who've already spoken, there's a lot of common threads, right? There seems to be this notional sense of neighborliness and this idea of coming together and understanding one another's flaws as well as their benefits and their finer points, their personalities, in order to get some work done. So with respect to that, there's a common thread of managing change, and Micah said it best, we're out of time. There's actually a way we can talk about that, and it's with respect to percent increase per year. And nobody really talks about these minor fractional things that just happen every year. But in the time, if you have 7% growth annually of 10 years, you'll have a doubled quantity. So this rate of change is much quicker than most people seem to talk about. And I think that's really what we're all feeling, is this flux and this push and this kind of displacement. And that's really where I'm coming from. The platform I'd like to bring up is the original root of these neighborhood associations and how they came to be. It was a movement of the people. It was a movement of neighborhoods coming together and understanding what they wanted and how it was misaligned with what a lot of the goals of the city were at the time. And that really came from this communal address of development, right? And so that's really what I'd like to see. I'd like to come back with a Portland People's Plan that has the input from the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so next we have Amanda Rhodes.
Thank you. So my name's Amanda Rhodes. I am not a politician, and I wasn't really prepared to address however many people you are here, but it is amazing to see you here. And I know it's, for a lot of us, it's been a lot of stress and drama to get us here to this point, but it's so reassuring to me to hear so many folks echo the same things that I want to see, is, active public engagement. I want you guys to keep coming when the drama is over. I want to see the board be facilitators of conversations and not just decision makers. I want us to come together. My platform that I wrote up was, transparency. We got to do better at the basic secretarial work of this job so that everybody knows what's going on. We have to have better communications, better public engagement. Maybe sitting in a hot room once a month isn't always the best way to get the job done. We can go out places. We need to build partnerships with other organizations doing great work. We need to get other communities involved. And then the third one is building trust. We've lost a lot of trust this year. There's been a lot of drama. I can't say enough about the drama. And I think that this organization can be strong and can really be a tool to bring people together, and that's what I want to do. My job, I'm a city planner, and so I bring a lot of experience with using the zoning code. We're at a pivotal point here. There's a lot of development going on. We're getting a new zoning code. There's a lot of things changing in the next year, and I'm getting training on that all the time, so I can bring that to the neighborhood. So that's something special that I offer that I'm really happy to share with you guys. I've lived here for 12 years. We're raising our kids here, and vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, 14, Evelyn McPherson.
She put the baby down.
Sit here and use one mic. My name's Evelyn. I helped found Montavilla Initiative, which really was literally just a bunch of neighborhood association members that had gone to meetings before and either got kicked off the website or just felt like their voices weren't being heard. So that pamphlet, I'm sure that you heard what some of our people from the pamphlet said, and I kind of feel like Joe Jones said every single word that I really wanted to say. So I just want to bring the neighborhood together. I want to see block parties. Actually, been to some of my notes too. I like block parties. I grew up going to the park every single day during the summer. I was a pool rat. All the lifeguards knew me, and then out of that came a couple of my siblings became lifeguards. So I managed several of the pools in the area. So my kids now swim every single day of the summer. I have 5 little girls. So that's really all the time that I need. So
Thank you. So 15, we have Abigail Garwood.
Hello, I apologize for keeping this short. I'm extremely uncomfortable talking in front of a lot of people, but
if you have any questions or ever want to have a conversation with me, I'm always willing to talk to anybody. The main thing I'd like to say is the reason I decided to run was that I wanted to be a part of making this community stronger and safer, and I'm all about unity, diversity, acceptance, and honestly just getting to know one another and loving people and, you know, understanding. So if you have any questions or want to talk to me, feel free.
Thank you. All right, we have 16, Julie McConnell.
I feel like my grandkids need something about hands. Yes, I'm Julie McConnell. Mark and I are 40-year residents of this neighborhood, so we are very invested in this place. We've been students, business owners, we're homeowners, we were renters. Years ago when we moved to Portland, my husband worked very, very hard, and we made $500 a month, you know, and so we know what it's like to struggle. And we know what it's like to work hard, and you know, we volunteered with our kids. I've done lots of fundraising, I've planned events. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about, that I'm excited about, that has been mentioned several times in our neighborhood association, is the town hall. And the reason I'm so excited about that is I really want to see us all be aware of the resources in our community, and I want to come together and learn about what there is for our neighborhood and have a safe neighborhood and a neighborhood that serves everyone that's here.
Thank you. All right, 17, Angela Todd.
Good evening, I'm Angela Todd. I'm a business owner in the neighborhood. I also live a block outside the boundary. I employ a couple people who live in Montavilla and a couple other people that work for my office. I also am pretty aware of all the drama, and what I would say about the neighborhood is that I'm glad you're here. And I think that one of the things that really is happening, not only in this community, but in general in our nation, is that we aren't getting to know each other. We're on our devices, we're in our house, we're not answering the door, and we don't have enough front porches. And I think that what I notice is that it's easy to be upset with somebody until you meet them, until you sit there and you look in their eyes and you talk to them about what's important to them. There's a lot of people running that are qualified, and I would say that it doesn't matter to me if I'm voted in or not, but if I am, I will use the experience that I have as a board member. I was on the Home Builders Association. I was also on the Native American Youth and Family Center, and 4 other boards that I've been in my adult career. I work really hard. I'm very process-driven, and I'm good at speaking with people and connecting people. And you can count on me to do that if I am part of the board. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, 18, Olivia Ellis. Woo!
I got it. Hi, I'm Montavilla Ellis. I'm originally from Seattle, but I came here to get a degree at the University of Portland, where I got a degree in English. After that, I went on to become a freelance journalist, copywriter, social media coordinator. And what I noticed at the last board meeting is there was a lot of interest in increasing communication and coordination from the board. That's something I think I have skills that I'd be really interested in contributing to the community. But I'm also here for another reason, which is that I'm really interested in the transformative history of neighborhood organizing here in Portland, Oregon. It was actually called originally the Neighborhood Revolutions, they called it, in the 60s and the 70s, which actually catapulted us here in Portland to create the Office of Neighborhood Involvement. Today, I think we see an emphasis on returning the Office of Neighborhood Involvement to its original vision, with Chloe Daly as the commissioner and with the appointment of Sue Gree as the new director. They've hit a hard note on inclusivity, what inclusivity means for everyone, renters, homeowners, tenants, houseless. I think it's really important for them to be saying that kind of message about Office of Neighborhood Involvement. I'd be really interested in continuing these conversations here in Montavilla. But I'm also interested in one more reason, which is I'm profoundly intrigued in the kind of history that's been forgotten as well, which is that there used to be more budgetary advisory councils. These meetings, these town halls used to have a real moment of civic engagement. We hold city city council accountable. Our opinions matter, and I think that's why I'm here. I think our opinions matter. I would like to see us get together more, talk about these things, de-escalate conflicts, work through them, and maybe we can actually develop the same people power we saw in the 60s and 70s. I have 2 questions for you, and they're the same questions I have for myself. What is neighborhood democracy, and what can neighborhood democracy create? Number 19, Robert Brown.
Hello, my name is Robert Brown. I'm a student at PSU. I've lived in Montavilla for about 3 years. I think we need to do more things to stand up for the houseless, for the poor, people of color, transgender folks. I think we need to help out our immigrants. I agree with people that we need a needle exchange. I think we should have more community events. A strong community means a happy community, a good community. One I'm a big fan of is Food Not Bombs, which is every Wednesday in Montavilla Park. People will give out food out of the kindness of their hearts to help people out and other supplies. I believe very strongly in direct democracy, and as a computer programmer, I can help the community voice their opinions, and I will take your voices into consideration if I'm elected. If we have more gentrification and more big money coming into play in Montavilla, we're just going to see more houseless people and more crime. When you have gentrification coming in, there's more people out on the streets, and there's more people living in their cars and RVs, and that's kind of a sad thing. I'm number 19. Please vote for me.
Woo! Thank you. All right, number 20, Larry Mears. Are you here? Larry Mears? No, we'll come back if Larry is here. 21, Paul Rowland.
Some of you, if you listen to cable radio, you may have heard me. I do Wednesday talk radio. Some friends there. A couple years ago, a little over 2 years ago, I helped my mom buy a house in the neighborhood. My elderly mother, and so it's my main gig at present is taking care of her. So I have a fair amount of time I'd like to devote to this, and I've worked with a lot of activist groups, environmental, Native American support, various other groups over the years. So. Yeah, I think the neighborhood association level is a great place to address the big social and political issues and problems. Certainly, we see at most of the other levels, it's failed pretty miserably, given the situation that we find ourselves in with permanent economic crisis, total ecological breakdown, and the rest. I think, I don't know how much people really realize the storm that is coming our way with just climate change. I don't know if people have seen images of what's going on in Northern California. So, resilience, people throw around resilience, big word. And there's a lot of stuff going on the neighborhood level, and I think we really need to strengthen that. I think we really need to look really creatively about how we can break down the social isolation and division between people and share resources. I think we need to think seriously about challenging capitalist social relations at a neighborhood level, strange and utopian as that might sound. So anyway, I think planting more fruit and nut trees, something a personal thing of mine. I do a lot of foraging around. There's a lot of walnuts and chestnut trees. We could use more of it. Yeah, so that's about it. I'm number 21.
Thank you. All right, we have Rob. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Hi, I'm Rob Hanger. I moved into Montavilla earlier this year. I bought a house near the 205 bike path. I've lived around Mount Tabor for the last 8 years or so. And I picked Montavilla because I really like the community and I like the values of this community. And since moving here, I moved here right around the time that the resolution was passed. And I really thought, heck yeah, this is a group of people that, regardless of what you think of the resolution or how it's been implemented or talked about, it's a group of people who are really interested in direct action and supporting their community, including the marginalized populations of their community. And since then, I've been coming to the meetings. You know, clearly, regardless of what you thought, again, of the resolution, it has really been successful. The turnout of the people here is incredible, and it's what the community needs to continue. And I'd like to help support that. I'd like to jump in and meet my neighbors and be a part of this community. And I mean that regardless of if I'm elected to the board or not. I hope to meet a lot of you. Feel free to talk to me. I'd love to meet you and make friends in the neighborhood. Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have? So Larry's not able to join us, but is someone reading the statement? Oh, thank you. So this is Larry, number 20 statement.
Hi, Larry came this evening. I think he has the flu. He was actually sick before he came, and he was sick while he was here outside. So he left. I happened to try and call him, and he texted a couple of us. So I'm going to read in his own words what he had written. I have Montavilla roots. I bought my first home in Montavilla in 1985, one I still own with a long-term tenant who has lived there for over a decade. I have full circle running for the board of directors this year. You see, I served on the Montavilla Neighborhood Association steering committee in 1996. At that time, we drafted a 20-year plan for the neighborhood. I find having a little of both, short and long-term planning, to form great neighborhoods. I have some private and public service background that I feel would be beneficial to our neighborhood as well. I am a Portland business owner. I was a Scappoose City Councilman from 2007 to 2015, leaving my term as council president. I was also the vice president to the mayor in the city of Scappoose. I also served on the South County Chamber of Commerce Board. I have worked on complex solutions with the city of Portland and Scappoose and navigated through solutions and departments and processes. I think that would be helpful here. Many people seek a board position with ideas and goals to pursue once they take office. I don't have an agenda, but please allow me to explain. I feel my work is to communicate with my neighbors and understand what they want to see in their community. In a nutshell, it is my job to help create and foster the goals we all share.
Thank you. Whew. So first of all, I was really moved by so many of those words. It takes a lot for people to get up here and speak and put themselves out there, and you did a great job. So let's give a round of applause to everyone that spoke. So I also want to give all of you a round of applause for just sticking with that process. That was not easy, and you did a fantastic job, so good job. Really, it's very, very hot. So